be here. But I assure you, in 2 hours, and you'll be out of here way before 2 hours, our teeth will be chattering. This is Santa Cruz weather. So I have a couple of remarks. How this is going to work is I'm going to make my opening remarks. I'm going to introduce Jim Maughan, my co-editor. He's going to make a couple of remarks. He's going to introduce our publisher, Michael Neff. And then every contributor who's here is going to read for a 4-minute maximum. Now that's about moderately paced, about 2 pages of poetry. But you poets know how to do it. So we all want to hear each other. And thank you, guests. Thank you for supporting poetry. Okay. So welcome again, poets and friends. Thank you for showing up in the middle of your busy, stressed, and overwhelmed lives. Thank you for making room for poetry. We're here to celebrate the Perihelion launch with this reading. And before Jim and I introduce the poets that we're reading tonight, I'd like to reflect very briefly on the poetic economy, having just been to a really spectacular conference at UCSC on poetry and politics for 2 days in my spare time. But it certainly gave me a lot to think about. So what is poetry and the poetry economy? But a productive and contentious space of shared affect and attachment, of the double edge of community, that bridge between individuals that is both inclusive and to be celebrated, as well as necessarily exclusive and sometimes divisive. I embrace the pluralism of the poetry included in Perihelion's first orbit, under my and Jim Maughan's editorship, and the generative potential of argument and difference. I embrace the contradictions that poetry performs of gift and power, of abjection and death, of circulation, connection, clash, and commitment to language. That sharing is what makes poetry communities work, against all odds. A complex mix of the prescriptive, proscriptive, and always already pluralist compromise. I'm happy to enable the process of poetic community. Thank you to poet extraordinaire Robert Sword. Robert Sword, thank you. Who connected me initially to Perihelion's publisher, Michael Neff, when he was out looking for an editor. When did that happen? And Jim Maughan, who agreed to join me as co-editor, without whom this would never have come together. And finally, to Robbie Schoen, where's Robbie? Who works this gallery endlessly, tirelessly, for peanuts, I'm sure, as we used to say, without whom, for all of your hard work and generosity in making Felix Culpa available to poets throughout the years. Please, everybody, put $1 or more in that lucite box in the other room for Robbie's gallery to keep the doors open. And now, for poetry. Jim.
That is what's going to happen if you go over your 4 minutes. So I have the honor of introducing Michael Neff. I wanted to just make 2 comments beforehand. First of all, the sun here is very bright. So if any of the poets would like to borrow my hat. The second thing is that I would like to thank Dion and Michael for inviting me to be a part of Perihelion. And I'm really excited about what we've come up with and what we're going to be coming up with in the future with this magazine. None of this would be possible were it not for Michael Neff. Michael is the founder and director of webthesoul.com, a literary website for writers and journals, and the second to publish a literary journal on the internet in 1994. Yeah. That was 6 years before I knew there was an internet. He is the founder and publisher of Perihelion, as well as 6 other literary magazines, including 5 Trope, Double Room, La Petite Zine, In Posse Review, the Potomac Journal of Poetry and Politics, and Del Sol Review. His Algonquin Writers Workshops and conferences have resulted in dozens of contracts for authors in all genres, and his own novel, Year of the Rhinoceros, about the corporate takeover of Washington during the Reagan era, was published by Red Hen Press in 2009. His short fiction and poetry has appeared in a variety of journals, including North American Review, Conjunctions, The Literary Review, Pittsburgh Review, Quarterly West, and many others. Please welcome Michael Mann.
Great white wines, by the way. Unbelievable. Didn't you select them? No.